Well, I grew up in Belton, South Carolina, which is a small town of 4,000 people in the Piedmont of the state, and it's a big tennis town. So everybody in Belton played tennis, and I did too. Unfortunately, all my friends could beat me, so I gravitated to other competitive sports like football and baseball in high school and later in college. But I always wanted to come back to Belton because my dad had a furniture business there in town, and I always knew that's what I wanted to do. After college, and I went to Wofford College where I had a great experience, and came back to Belton, got married, started raising a family, and had a great friend named Jim Russell who had got involved as a tennis official, and he was the referee of the Palmetto Championships. The Palmetto Championships is the state junior qualifying tournament that's played in Belton every year. It started in 1957 and has been played there in Belton every year since then. And we bring in now about 430 kids every year to play that event. But at the time, this was back in 1976, the tournament, of course, wasn't anywhere near that big, but also wasn't getting a lot of notoriety. And being in the retail furniture business, I had a lot of contacts. We advertised on the radio and TV and also in newspapers. So I had contacts with those folks, and I told Jim, I said, I'll volunteer to help. And I'll be a PR, publicity director, and we'll get some publicity for this event. And so I did, and we did get some nice publicity. And one thing leads to another, and probably I would guess in about 3 or 4 years I kind of gravitated into becoming the tournament director. So I was fortunate that Jim remained the referee and I was the tournament director, and we worked together for well over 30 years before Jim unfortunately passed away just a few years ago. And but that's how I first got involved, and Jim got me involved beyond Belton, because back in the late 70s, early 80s, all I really knew is that we had a pretty good tennis tournament in Belton. We were doing a nice job. People seemed to enjoy it, and we got some good exposure and PR for the area from it. But I wasn't really aware of what was going on at the South Carolina level, and certainly not aware of what was going on at the Southern level or the USTA level. And Jim became the president of USTA South Carolina. At that time, we called it the South Carolina Tennis Association, in 1983, and one of his goals was to establish a South Carolina Tennis Hall of Fame. And so the two of us being good friends, and he knowing that I was a pretty good fundraiser, he assigned me to become the first chairman of the South Carolina Tennis Patrons Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit we set up to basically get the Hall of Fame started. And so we did that, and it just so happened in Belton that the old train depot, Belton, by the way, is a train town. It started from the trains coming through, and the old train depot was going to be torn down, and a group of citizens got together and decided to refurbish it, and we needed to salvage it. It was a great historical building, and so they did, and just so happened on the south wing of the old depot was an open area where the waiting rooms were for the trains. And so we were able to go in there, and while the depot was being refurbished, we refurbished that area and made it into the South Carolina Tennis Hall of Fame, which opened in 1983. And so becoming the chairman of the South Carolina Tennis Patrons, then obviously I started going to the South Carolina meeting. And just like with the Palmetto, one thing leads to another. I have a couple of girls who are pretty good players. They start playing sanctioned junior tournaments, and I started traveling around the state, and then fortunately they made the Southerns, and so I started seeing some things outside of my local community, and so I got involved with South Carolina. Again, it's still with South Carolina Tennis Association, and became, got on the board of that, became a vice president, and then I served as president of the South Carolina Tennis Association for 2 years back in 1994 and 1995, and I was very fortunate to have somebody like Jim, because Jim went on, after being the South Carolina president, to be a Southern president. He was actually Southern president at the same time I was South Carolina president. And Jim had got involved at the national level. And so Jim's influence, he was able to recommend me, and I got appointed to Southern committees and also to national committees well before I was heavily involved in South Carolina, as a matter of fact. I'm not sure. I think this may be my 30th Southern meeting. It's not the 30th. It's close to it. So you can see, thanks to his influence that I was able to get involved in. And of course, after even during Jim's time, Jack Mills, who was also from South Carolina, and then Lucy Garvin, they all kind of ensured that I continued to be able to be involved in those organizations. And of course, the greatest thing about tennis, and when people sometimes ask me why I do what I do, is because of the people and the friends that I've made and continue to have. And all of my best friends now are people that are fellow volunteers or staff members of either USTA South Carolina, USTA Southern, or the USTA. So I have friends in Belton as well, but I'm really blessed to have all these great tennis friends, and I think hopefully I've been able to make a difference. I have tried. We try to work hard at it, but my slogan when I was president of Southern was to work hard to grow tennis and to have fun. And I think having fun is one of the key ingredients to all of it. If you don't have fun, then it's not worth doing. And then my second year as president, I added finish strong. So we always try to finish strong if we can finish strong. And I still feel like, though, that my biggest contribution to tennis remains there in Belton. We're in my own community. I'm still the tournament director of the Palmetto Championships. I'm still on the Belton Tennis Association board, and we're just fortunate to have a great tennis program right there in the little town of Belton. So that's still where I think I make a real difference, but I'm glad to still be involved at Southern, certainly, and at USTA as well. So that's kind of the story for my tennis, hopefully in a nutshell, of how I got involved and some of the things that have happened along the way. But it's been a great experience, and I wouldn't give anything for it.